There's plenty of seats in the front if you want to. Okay. It's Political Science 30. There's plenty of seats in the front if you want to. Everyone found the room? I guess everyone found the room. Okay. My name is Michael Che. It's pronounced Che. That's my name. I'm Korean, so that's my name in Korean. That's my office. And so that's where I am. I'm there most days, 5 days a week. If I'm there in my office, you can just knock on the door and say hi. If you want to make sure that I'm there, just email me. Don't call me. Don't call me on the phone because I'm not good at the phone. But email me. I'm good at email. Okay. So this is Political Science 30. That's my email. Yeah. You can email me anytime. These are our TAs. So some will be coming later. Arseny Samsonov, Monica Woodman, and Tamara Zalberger. And we will not have sections this week. Like I said, my email. Did you get the email I sent you? Yeah. So no sections this week. Sections will not meet this week, but they will meet next week. Okay. So you'll meet them here at the end of class today. You can see who they are, but you'll actually get to interact with them next week. Okay. Right. Any questions about that? Okay. There's seats up here. One thing I noticed is that there's a lot of traffic going in and out of this in the front. So there's actually exits. If you want to leave here quickly, I just checked. You can leave that way or this way. This one goes straight outside. So if you need to get to your next class quickly, I would recommend going this way as opposed to flipping out where people are going. Let's go over the administrative part of the class. Okay. So this is the website. Everything's going to be on the website. I'm not going to give paper handouts. Okay. This is the website. You'll see it. So this course introduces the key concepts of game theory and how they can help in understanding political and social phenomena. Can everyone hear me in the back? No, it's no problem. Okay. Game theory uses simple mathematical models to describe social situations and make predictions. This course emphasizes model building as skills as well as problem solving. Okay, so we'll talk about what model building skills are. This course is based on lectures and handouts, and there's no textbook. Yeah, you just saved $150. Okay, no textbook. Okay. So anyway, here's some example big questions we'll address. So this is mainly about model, but we'll talk about like the world. Some of the questions we'll look at are what does rationality mean? Why does government exist? Why is it difficult to overthrow a regime even if it's widely hated? How can a single person create large social change? Is it ever rational to purposefully randomize your choices? Is it ever worthwhile to purposefully limit your own actions? Why is there so much centrism in US politics, not so much in Europe? What does democracy mean? What is the most effective and subtle form of power? Why do fashions go in cycles? And does dating favor the asked and askers? So these are questions we will address and we'll answer. So the timetable, this is the syllabus. It's basically based on the homework. So week 1 and week 0 is what a game is, player strategies, payoffs, etc. And we'll go through this as time goes on. So basically the first half of the class for the midterm, these 4 or 5 weeks, whatever, is basically the real kind of basic elements of game theory. So this is stuff which is taught all over the world. But actually, we teach it more in UCLA than most universities. I'm proud of that. So we teach it to very large lecture classes, to freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. A lot of places it's taught as kind of more an advanced class. But anyway, we teach it, and I'm happy about that, and you guys learn it, which is great. Okay, so this is sort of basic stuff, kind of, it's about how to build models. And the second part of the class about models of voting and social choices stuff is more of the applied aspect. Okay, that'll be more of the political sciencey stuff. Okay, any questions about that? Material we'll cover. Okay. The material we'll cover is very standard. It's not special. I mean, if you see this on YouTube or on other websites, it's all the same. So, you know, you might get books, or if you want to find other ways of learning things, go for it. I mean, and you can ask me, and I can suggest textbooks. We don't have a textbook, but if you really want something like that, let me know, and I'll tell you some stuff. Okay. All right. Okay. So this again, that's me, my email address. Oh, these are our TAs, and this is their section. So sometimes people ask if they can switch sections. So a good way is somebody already put on the discussion board. You can exchange with somebody else. Like if you're registered for one section, but that doesn't work out for you, you can try to switch to somebody else. But we also have this policy that you can still talk. You can talk to your TA and try to work it out. Okay. So you might be registered for one TA section, but maybe go to another one of your other TA sections. Okay. So that's okay. We usually don't allow people to change sections across TAs. The reason is because if your name is on somebody's TA grade sheet, then if you attend another person's section, they won't know who you are. Okay. So anyway, so there's flexibility. But okay. Any questions about that? Any enrollment questions? Okay. If you do have questions afterward, I just noticed I'm very busy getting in and out of here, so I also don't like to stay here while the next person's setting up. So what I'll do is, after class, I will get all my stuff together, all this electronic stuff together, and then just be outside. Okay. So if you want to talk to me, don't come up here. Just talk to me outside. Okay. That will just make it easier for the next class to come in. Does this make sense? Okay. But I will be out there. Okay. All right. Okay, hey, this discussion forum, someone already posted something about like switching sections, which is great. If you have a request like that, go ahead and do that. Okay, let's talk about grading. It's always a big issue which we want to talk about. Okay, can you see that font-wise? It's okay. Okay, so in this course, grading is based on 4 things: homework, midterm participation section, and a final. So first of all, note that homework is a fairly large percentage, 20%. A midterm is not that large. Okay, that's kind of by design. Participation is pretty small, and the final is kind of a lot. Okay, so that's what's based on. Let's go through each in turn. Homework assignments are graded either 0 or 1. I used to just do 0 or 1 because I don't want people to stress out too much about getting the right answers in the homework. Okay, so it's not like you get 90, 95 or something like that, just 0 or 1. So just do it. Okay, just try it. You don't have to worry too much about whether it's correct. Just try to put your soul into it and try to do it. Okay. The only problem with that is sometimes people will just like do really cursory things, and that's why we put the 0.5 in. Okay, so as long as it's not cursory, as long as it's not in the back of the cereal box or something like that, you'll get a 1 if you do it. Okay? Okay? So anyway, yeah, so 0, no homework handed in, 1, homework handed in, and more or less satisfactory, or 0.5, homework handed in, but done in a sloppy, uninspired, improved. So they're not graded in terms of right or wrong answers. So don't worry too much about getting anything correct. Some of the questions and homeworks are pretty hard, but just try it. We're not going to grade them to detail, in a detailed fashion, but we'll give you the answers for sure. So you can go back and look at your homework and your answers. Okay. So students are expected to recognize their own errors after looking at the answers, which are handed out in class. Late homeworks are not accepted for any reason because it's such a large class that becomes a logistical headache. And this is kind of something we really want to try to be disciplined about, because in such a large class, it's really kind of, sometimes you don't know who's this late, if you're hungry and all that. So there's seats in the front. There's plenty of seats up here. So just please get in there on time. So do them, get them in on time. Don't stress too much about the details. The main point of homework is to learn something while doing them and not get too worked up about how they affect your grade. However, if you do receive a 0.5, that should be a red flag that you're not understanding something. So if you do get a 0.5, you should think, oh, you guys just missed the entire homework. Then you should go back. Oh, also in previous experience, not turning homeworks is the best predictor of failure. So if you're not turning the homeworks, that's a problem. Okay, so I'll just let you know. So if you come to me like week 6 and say, I'm failing the class, the first thing I'll ask you is, have you done the homework? And then you say, yes, I've done the homework. And I'll say, you're probably not going to fail the class. So if you say, I haven't done the homework, then I'll say, well, maybe you shouldn't worry. Okay, so just do the homework. That's the basic class. Just do it. Don't worry about too much. Just that's how you learn in this class. It's all about problems. Okay, just do the problems. Okay, that's all I'm asking you to do. The best way to turn your homework is physically in paper form. So during class, so they will not be handed in sections. They'll be handed in class. And we'll have this little. We have this little system of different little boxes, and we'll go around. Okay, so physically is the most convenient. It is not necessary to have your homework typed up. You don't have to use Microsoft Word or anything. Handwritten is fine. Of course, clarity is appreciated. In addition to turning it in physically, it is optional but recommended to submit your homework online. So this is the first time we're trying this. Sometimes you lose things or whatever. It's a large class. So just for your protection in some sense, before you hand in homework, just take pictures of your phone. And we have this thing on the website which allows you to upload files. Okay, so the cool thing about that is it provides like a little receipt for record if you did it on time. So it kind of protects you. Make sense? Okay, so it doesn't take too long. Just go ahead and do it. And I put a little sample kind of submission link to see if you want to try it, just to practice. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you can create a PDF file and make images of your homework on the phone. So that you have a record of turning it in just in case it gets lost. Okay. Oh, grades will be processed. So there's a way of doing grades through Moodle, but we don't do that. We do it through my.ucla. Are you familiar with that? Yeah, so the rubrics up there, you'll be able to see how things are entered in. And we'll try to keep that regular, so you'll be able to see whether you got credit for your homeworks, and you're able to see whether your midterm grade was entered correctly and all that. So you want to keep a little bit on, keep track of that, so you make sure that we didn't make a mistake entering things in and all that. Okay, because we're human beings too. Okay, midterm and final. The midterm will take place during class on Thursday, November 8th. It's like 6th week. It's a little bit after midterms, sort of. The final will take place on Wednesday, December 12th, from 11:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., the normal scheduled time, as in the website you see. Questions in both exams will be similar in format to homework questions. In terms of difficulty, some will be easier and some will be somewhat more difficult. The midterm will have 4 questions and the final will have 8 questions. The best way to study for exams is to thoroughly understand the homeworks. Coming up with your own problems and then try to solve them is also a good way. And you can also look at past midterms and finals at the handout archive, so I'll go through that in a second. The final is comprehensive. Oh, no makeup exams are given for any reason at all. We do not do makeup exams in class. The reason is because we grade in the curve, so it's really hard to give you a makeup exam which is just as difficult as everyone else's, so we just don't do it. Okay, so please, please, please make sure that these exam dates are okay with you. Okay, all right. If a student is not present for a given exam, that student can receive a 0 for the exam or drop the course. This course is offered every quarter of every year. No special accommodations are made for students who show up late for exams. So sometimes, maybe once or twice in the last, I've taught this class since 2001 here in UCLA, and maybe I've had 2 or 3 times somebody shows up halfway through the final and say, can I get an extra hour and a half to do with the rest of my final? I will say no. I really don't like that, because then what if someone shows up a day late? Am I supposed to give them 3 hours? What the hell's going on here? So please, please, please show up in time. Okay, there's no special accommodations. That's one thing I can at least. I really want to try to be fair and give everyone exactly the same situation. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I can't really accommodate that kind of stuff. Okay, So please, please, please get there on time. Okay. To reduce the stress of midterms, when the course grades are computed at the end of the quarter, if a student's final grade, exam grade is higher than their midterm grade, then the final exam grade will replace the student's midterm grade. Okay? So, for example, you got like a 2 on the midterm. They get a 90 in the final. Then I'll take the 90 in the final and put it in the midterm. Okay? Do you see how that works? So therefore, there's very, very little stress associated with the midterm. And also, notice that if you can't make the midterm for some other reason, you just don't have to take it, right? You could just get a 0 on it, although it's a little risky. You see what I'm saying? Okay? So the only thing you really, really have to be here for is the final. I guess that's what I'm saying, which I think is completely reasonable, yeah? Okay, so there's no make-up midterms. No go make-up finals either, but I think that makes sense, okay? So if you have some conflict of midterms or whatever, you could just not do it and get a 0. Okay? And it will not prejudice you with respect to it. Does that make sense? Okay, so I did this because midterms are always a stressful time. And in this class particularly, midterms have always been a stressful time, mainly because the midterm is very short. Okay, so it's only an hour and 15 minutes. And so actually I thought about sometimes doing 2 midterms, like, one class and the next class. And I thought that's crazy. I spend the whole week doing midterms. So this is my thing. So cool thing about it is you can do great. If you do great, it'll help you for sure. But if you don't do well, that's okay. You can just make it up. You can later. Okay? So it's a less stressful situation. We'll also probably do a practice midterm class, so don't stress about it. Okay, so in other words, a student who does not do well on the midterm can replace that performance with a good performance in the final. This rule will be applied to all students automatically. Okay, so you don't have to ask for it; it just does it on the website. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So one thing I will say about exams in this class tend to be hard, like pretty hard, in the sense that I'll show you the grade distribution class because I will design it so that some questions are easy in the sense that I expect almost everybody to do them, but also some questions on the exam I'll expect maybe 10% of the people to be able to do. Okay? The reason I do that is because I kind of want to allow people who really, really know what they're doing to show me that. Okay? I want to create a large range between people who are just okay and people who are really invested a lot and work really hard. So I want to see those people. I want to reward them for that. Okay? And so therefore, for example, I usually grade 4 questions on the midterm. Each question is usually 12 points. So that's 48 points on the midterm. In the past, for example, if you got a 30 out of 48, that might correspond to a B minus. Okay, just see what I'm saying? You might pass the midterm by getting 20 out of 48 points. Okay, so some people get really freaked out by that. They're saying, oh, I got less than 50%, I got an F or something like that. Well, it's because there's one huge curve. Okay, it's not about that. Okay, I just want to create a great distance. Okay, so for example, you might get 35 out of 48 and get an A. Okay? So don't stress too much about the action. You might say, oh my God, that midterm is so hard. I only did 2/3 of it correctly. That might be a B+. Okay? So don't worry about it too much. Okay? Okay. I'll go through the last year's midterm and final. The total class grade distribution is the same. Anyway, so don't stress that too much. Okay, that's the midterm and final. Any questions about that? Okay, participation in section. This depends on participation section. It's the sole discretion of your TA. So your TA, when you meet your TA, he will actually let you know how they will grade participation. Sometimes it's attendance, sometimes based on whether you do problems and stuff. Okay, so that's it. A student who participates recently will get a grade of 100. Students who does not can get a grade of 0. If you're at the end of the quarter and the TA doesn't know who you are, and who the hell is this person, you might get 0. Okay? Okay? So try to participate. That's what that's for. Okay. Questions about grading. Because of the 0.51 grading system for homework, questions about homework grades should be unnecessary and therefore not be considered. Concerning grading for the midterm and final, for uniformity of grading, each question will be graded by the same person. So we try to treat everyone the same way as much as possible. So the way it works is when we have a final, one person grades the same question for everybody in the class. Okay, so therefore, in other words, one TA doesn't grade the whole exam for their own students. You see what I'm saying? So that way the same grading standard is applied to everybody in the class. Yeah? I'm trying to be fair. Okay. So if you do have a question about how your exam was graded, like in question 3, come to me and I'll tell you which TA graded question 3, and then you can talk to that person. Okay? So that TA might be different from the TA who's running your sections. Yes? Okay, but that person will have authority over grading that question for the entire class. So if there's still other problems, come talk to me, that's fine. Let's see. If a student takes the step of appealing a TA grading decision to the instructor, i.e. me, students should be aware that in such appeal, it is possible for the student's grade to be adjusted upward or downward. So of course, again, everyone's human. We can make a mistake. If you think there's an actual mistake in the grading, of course, let us know. We want to treat everyone correctly and fairly. So if there's a mistake, let us know. Okay. But also, some people treat this kind of like process as kind of like a way of grubbing up grades and kind of like, oh, could you do this? So that's the thing we're trying to avoid. Okay. But of course, if you think there's a mistake, if you don't understand why you've been grading a certain thing, graded a certain way, please let us know. We're happy to talk to you. Okay. All right. In the past, I might do this on yours. I've been tempted to release everyone's exam anonymized, so you can see how you did relative to everyone else. Okay, like so you get this huge PDF file of like 500 exams or something like that. Okay, so I might do that sometimes just to see, so you can see how everything's graded, just to make sure that you're graded relatively fairly. Okay, so okay. All right. Anyway, so at the end of the quarter, in my little spreadsheet, I make a score, which is 20% times your homework, 20% times the midterm, 10% times the section, and 50% times the final. And then I make a large spreadsheet and I rank people, okay, so like from top to bottom, okay? And then the top 10% get an A+, the next 10% get an A, etc. Okay, it's all based on this curve in some sense, okay? So at least 30% of the people will get some sort of A, sometimes as much as 35%, okay? The next 30% will get some kind of B, okay? And like if you're the lowest bit, you might get a C+ or lower, okay? See what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm not necessarily wedded to this. If everyone does fantastic, I'm totally okay with giving the class 60% of class A's, no problem, okay? But this is basically the scheme, okay, what I start out with. Okay, and I can show you old previous classes grading distributions so you can see kind of what's going on. Okay, all right, so, so in other words, but guaranteed 30% of the people in the class will get an A, some form of A, okay? And the top 10% will get A+, okay? Right? For me, like the median should be around, B-. Okay, the average grade is C+, B-. Okay. Oh, so the grade C-, D+, D, B-, and F are assigned not just by rank, but also by consensus performance. So if, I think that's not just by rank, I actually look at the grade and say, oh, that person deserves a D+ or a C- or whatever. Okay. Again, if it's judged that the class as a whole performed extremely well, it is possible for the curve above to be adjusted upward. Oh, so this is what I talked about before. Exams in this class are designed to be fairly difficult. In 2004, people who received the grade of D had midterm scores from 25 to 45 out of 48 points. So you could get 25 out of 48, almost half of the midterm, and still get a B. Okay? Okay with that? Okay. In 2004, students who received the grade of A had midterm scores ranging from 35 to 48 out of 48 points, and final scores going from 79 to 96 out of possible 96 points. Okay, so again, there's a large range. That's what I'm looking for in the. I don't want grades on the finals to cluster between 70 and 100. I want them to go from like 0 to 100. You see what I'm doing? So there will be some stuff in the exams which is quite hard. Okay. In any case, please remember that grades are given according to the table above, and don't get bent out of shape if your midterm score seems low in absolute scale, because it might be quite high relative to the scores of others. Okay, so this is also, like I said, in the past, people have often feel rushed when doing the midterm because it is kind of fast-ish. So there's 4 questions, an hour and 15 minutes. In the final, there's 8 questions in 3 hours, right? So there's much more time in the final than so the midterm will always be a little rushed, something that push it shorter. While making a shorter exam is then if you miss one question, then you lose more proportion of exam. So reducing the number of questions on the midterm introduces some randomness. So again, I'm not really sure how to deal with this. So the way I've dealt with it is this deal where the final can be closer to 0. Okay. So again, don't stress too much about the midterm. Okay, that's always a stressful time. Don't worry about it too much. You can always make up for it in the final. So the final exam is 3 hours long. Has much greater weight, and people always finish in time. So there's generally. There's one year in which no one had a final afterwards, so we actually let it go for 4 hours. Okay, it's kind of crazy, but I'm open to doing that too. The only issue is logistical. Okay. Okay. Any questions about grades? How that works? Okay. Collaboration. Okay, so it is permitted to collaborate in homework, and in fact encouraged. So it's great to do your homework with friends, but each student should write up their own assignment. Homework questions should involve finding an interesting case study. Pardon me. Should be done independently. You shouldn't choose the same case study as someone else. Doing homework is the best way to learn the material, so engaging with it at a superficial level defeats the purpose. In the midterm and final exams, collaboration, of course, is not allowed. So in the homework, again, the way I like to think about it is it's like training. Okay, it's like literally going to the gym and exercising. So you can do the training, and it helps you, and it's not necessarily easy, but you kind of work on it and hope that you can do a little better. That's what I do. I try to make the weights a little higher next time. Sometimes I say, no, that's too much, I go back, whatever. Okay. But it doesn't really work if you watch somebody else do it. Yes. Okay, so you have to just try to do it. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Okay, so use the homework as a way to learn. Okay. So sometimes people really work better alone, sometimes they work better in groups. So however, working group is fine too, or whatever makes it work for you. Okay. Academic dishonesty. Okay, so academic dishonesty includes cheating on exams, plagiarism, improper citations, lying to the instructor, impersonating another's identity, helping another person cheat, improperly altering the course website, unfairly changing your learning environment to the disadvantage of other students, and numerous other things. Guess why all those things are up there? Because I've actually had to deal with all those things. Okay. What constitutes academic dishonesty is determined solely by the instructor. If you have any questions about whether a certain action might be understood as academic dishonesty, we don't write papers in this class, but it sometimes comes up with citations, whatever. Just ask, okay? So sometimes you're not sure whether should I cite this the right way. And this is for other classes too. Just ask, like, am I supposed to be doing this the right way? This is okay. It is assumed that paper written for this class has not, or is not being used for any of the class, but we don't write papers in this class, so don't worry about that. If the instructor feels that a student has committed or has been involved in active dishonesty, according to UCLA policy, that matter is referred to the Dean of Students Office, which has the power to suspend and expel students. In the past, the instructor has brought six academic dishonesty cases to the Dean of Students Office, and the Dean of Students Office has exercised this power in each case. So last year, for example, I dealt with a case and a person was expelled. Okay, so I'm totally okay with doing this. I feel very strongly about this. If there's academic dishonesty in this class, I will try to kick you out of the UC system. I will totally do that. Okay, I really will, because I feel like we're all adults. This is a privilege to be here. If you do something which would get you fired if you were in a job, that's just the way things work. I really do not like that academic dishonesty, and I'll totally go after it. Okay? So just let me know about that. Okay? And I have done it in the past. And I really do not like it. All right. Okay. Ask me. That sounds kind of harsh, but it's true. It's the worst thing that an instructor has to deal with. Okay? Just be honest. If you're going to cheat on something, just go rob a bank. Leave the rest of us out of it. Go directly where the money is. Don't. Why do you have to deal with the class? Okay. Anyway, asking questions in email. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Sometimes like academic dishonesty comes up in a situation where you're under stress and you're not sure whether you can pass the class. If that's the case, just come to your instructor and say, hey, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure I'm going to pass the class. Okay. There's a way you can work things out. I mean, this class is taught every quarter. If you have a problem, you can take it with you next year. Take it with somebody else next quarter. It's not a big deal. Okay? Don't let stress make you do something which is not compatible with your beliefs, okay, and your own integrity. Okay, PS30, asking questions in email. Since this is a large class, asking questions during class is more difficult than it should be. So you think this is a large class. It is a fairly large class, okay? But you might think, no, I'm going to waste people's time if I ask a question. In general, you are not wasting someone's time. In general, if you're asking questions, usually because I didn't explain something correctly and maybe I just forgot to say something. And it's possible, it's very, very likely that 30 other people in class have exactly the same question and would love for you to ask that question. Okay? So just go ahead and do it. Raise your hand and say, I don't understand what you're doing. Or just you can just blurt it out. You might say, I'm a little worried that this is gonna, people are gonna look at me and think this is this time. If that's the case, I'll simply tell you, I'll say, that question's interesting, but we don't have the time right now, we'll come on to it later. Okay, so that's okay. So please, 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 don't hesitate to ask a question, because that's what makes this class interesting. It adds a lot to it. Questions during class are very much encouraged and help the learning process a lot. So as much as possible, we want to get this interactive feel. And that's partly on you. So again, if you have a question, or just, it might be a clarity question, it might be like, oh, what about this, what about this? You might say something, oh, I learned this in this other class, and that's different from what you're saying. That's totally okay. Okay, please feel welcome to ask questions. Some questions, especially on familiar concepts or topics which require a quick back and forth exchange, are much better handled face-to-face than regular. So every once in a while, I'll get an email, which is like a 2 or 3 paragraph email saying, I don't understand this, could be like this, could be like this, could be like this. I'm thinking, I could spend 10 minutes asking this question, or I could just talk to that person. And we'd be like, solve like that, okay? So please, 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 don't spend a lot of time asking questions by email when you can just talk to me, okay? It's usually faster. If it's a fast question like, homework 6 has a typo, that's of course fine by email. But if it's something like this question which can be solved in discussion, it's usually better to talk. Okay? So I prefer that. Again, email is good for short, simple questions, but for anything important, asking the person's better. The best time for face-to-face questions is before or after class, or during class. You can also come to office hours and after class. I think my office hours are usually going to be after class in the office. But you can just email me. I'm around almost all days, Monday to Friday. If you email, make sure your real name, not a nickname, is in your phone line, so I can search for you later. Like sometimes people will have like some sort of cute little alias in their email. If you find yourself running a long rambling email, consider whether everyone's time would be saved by asking the question in person. Okay, during class, please do not do anything with your computer other than taking class notes. So sometimes I'll be walking behind, in the back of people's classes and people are like doing this stuff. I don't care, to be honest. Like, I taught classes and like people will like read a newspaper, whatever. I don't care myself, but the people who care are the people around you. That's the people who you're kind of stepping on a little bit. So if you do have to do things like that, like social media stuff, just do it outside class or step out or something. If you have to take a call to step out, okay? It's really more about respect for the other students. I don't care about it, to be honest, okay? I slept a lot when I was in the graduate. I don't care if you sleep in my class because it's not, but if you snore a lot and it's bothering other people, then we'll say. You see what I'm saying? The issue is not about respecting me. The issue is about respecting the students. So we'll just try to keep it a learning environment for, an hour, 15 minutes, and then we can just leave and do our own thing. Please turn off your cell phone or set it to silent mode during class. If you must receive a call during class time, please leave the classroom before taking. If there is something about the classroom experience which is disrupting the learning environment, please let the instructor know as soon as possible. We are all responsible for maintaining the best learning environment possible. So what do I mean by this? I mean very basic things like, is it too hot or too cold in here for you? Can you see in the back? Can you hear? That kind of stuff. Okay, I'm not sitting in the back, so I don't know whether people can hear me in the back. You see what I'm saying? So you have to let me know. Okay? Another example is this. Once I was in the grocery store, and I ran to a person. She said, hey, I was your student that took PS30 with you, 3 years ago. And I said, oh, great. She said, there was a person who always brought their dog in, and, it was great to have a dog here, but it was kind of distracting. I said, you're telling me this 3 years later? If that's something, so, I literally did not see the dog for the entire time I had my class. If it was bothering somebody, and then somebody told me I could do something about it, but I didn't know about it, yeah? Okay, so if something like that's happening, and you think something's kind of distracting you, or just affecting your students, just talk to me about it. We can usually do something like it. If some students making remarks or whatever, or anything, or dogs or whatever. So I once taught this class, I taught this class a lot. And once a TA had epileptic seizures during the TA section, twice, like in actually once in the first week, once in week 6, okay? And the students in that class, in this section, first of all, had to call the ambulance twice. And they felt a little cheated, like, we didn't get our full educational experience because 2 of our sections were kind of disrupted by this epileptic seizure. That's fine. The only problem is I didn't know about this till week 10, okay? Because the people in the class, in the section, for understandably, were kind of sensitive about it or whatever. Had I known, I could have given those people extra sections, for example. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So if there's something like that, just tell me and I'll try to, give as much as I can. Okay? too hot, too cold, is it hard to get to class on time? Oh, one thing, I'll always start and end the class exactly on time. Okay, I'll never go over and never start late. Okay, so I literally look at my cell phone when it says 12:30, I'll start. And when it says 1:45, I'll quit. Okay, so that's never going to change. Okay, so just because I know, Pacific campus. Okay. All right. Okay. Any questions about that? Last year we had this issue with like fires and stuff. People couldn't come to campus, so we did like a video lecture. And sometimes things will happen. Yeah. So we try to sometimes have to deal with these things. Okay. Right. They tell us now we have to figure out how to deal with active shooter situations in the class. So I'll let you know, I'll sacrifice my life for you. I don't know if it'll do any good. But we have to think about that too. We have to come up with some sort of plan, so let's think about that. Kind of crazy. That's part of the job of being a teacher these days. Okay. Help. Okay. Everyone learns in a different way. Some people find the material easy at first and then difficult. Some people find the material difficult at first and easy, and so on. So a lot of you are coming from, like, especially if this is your first day in college or your first day in this environment. I think a lot of what you'll learn in life is not just what to do, but you'll learn about the diversity of experience of everyone around you. Because when you're in high school, well, first of all, like, if you go to like elementary school, you literally think everyone is like you. And then as you go through life, you realize people are a lot different from you. And one of the ways they're different is in how they learn. Okay. So, for example, when I learned this stuff, I was very much a math person. Okay, so I learned everything through math. Okay, so that might be your thing. But the other person might be more kind of a literature person. So I'm becoming more like that myself. Okay, so somebody might be really good at understanding lectures, but care about homework, so good with lectures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm saying is, for this and other classes, you've got to figure out, there's no one best way, but figure out what makes it work for you. Okay, seriously. So, for example, you might really like lectures, but not do the one on the homework. Then you need to get help with the homework, or vice versa. You might say, oh, I don't quite get this, but I'll look at the YouTube lectures later. Okay, that's fine too. You might, find a good textbook at the library, which is better for you. That's all fine. Okay, do whatever you need to do to make it work for you. Okay, I can help you with that. Okay. If you feel like you need help, try different approaches to learning so you can find something that works for you. Ask your TAs and search for help. Often a question can be cleared up very quickly. You can try the sources and materials. The material here is very standard. It's all the same everywhere. So if you find it in some other source, like YouTube or whatever, go for it. Working with classmates and groups can be very helpful. And again, I like the idea of training rather than studying. So you don't really study for this class. It's simply like you don't study to run a marathon. To run a marathon, you practice running a marathon. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to do. So everything here, it's more like training. Okay? Just do it and see if it works. And also, when training, you often try to do things and you can't do it. Like you're thinking of your personal trainer will say, oh, do a plank for 5 minutes. And you say, I cannot do that. Okay? I just can't do that. Okay? But you might do it for 2.5 minutes and it's worth trying. Yeah? Okay? So that's kind of the way I think about homework, everything in this class. Okay? It's about training. It's not about studying. Okay? Okay. Can anybody do a plank for 5 minutes in this class? Really fast. No? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, anyway. The best way to prepare for a finals is just do lots of fun. Just like I used to teach AYA, I used to be an AYSL coach for my kids, my own kids. And one person said, the best way to learn how to play soccer is to play soccer. Same way for this. The best way to do well in this class is to just practice doing the class. The best way to do good at finals is to do a lot of fun. It's pretty simple. Okay. Again, training rather than studying. Find problems and try doing them. If you feel completely lost, go back to the concept you feel comfortable with, and then try to work on going from what you know to what you don't know. Okay, so this is a common thing too. This is true in all aspects of life. If there's something you don't know, just try to bring it back to what you do know and then work from there. Yeah? And also, this class is actually very much like that because it really depends on understanding the basic things well. So if you understand the real basic things of the definitions well, you'll be okay. So always try to bring it back and then to what you understand and then bring it forward. Don't obsess about details. Okay? Don't worry too much about in page 67 of what you were, don't worry about that too much. Okay? Just try to think about the main ideas. Okay? Don't wallow in confusion, but try to find an anchor in a concept you do know. Above all, if you need help, try to get it sooner than later. Okay, so again, you might not be the person who really is used to asking for help. You might have seen in class you did before, but this class might be hard, or might be easy, whatever. If you do need help, if you're not used to it, please, please, please ask sooner than later. Okay? And the reason is just because if you ask sooner, we can deal with it when you do it. Okay? Especially around winter time, we have people coming in and saying, I don't know what's going on, and I would say, I'll help you, but I really wish you had come in 2 weeks earlier when I didn't have 50 people. Okay? So please, 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 if you don't understand something, deal with it quickly. Okay? A lot of times people, especially if they're coming from other institutions, they're used to a semester system. This is a course system. Courses is much faster, it's only 10 weeks. This was 12 or 14 weeks. So it's really easy to get kind of caught up and not realize how quickly you can do it. So please, 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 if you don't understand something, fix it quickly. Okay, come to me quickly, come to TA quickly, and we'll just try to fix it. Okay? Don't let kind of things happen. Okay. If you asked earlier, there's less panic for everyone. Okay. If you are in need of help for medical or mental health reasons, or for other social problems, or political problems, or whatever, or if something just doesn't feel right, again, please ask for help. Okay, so I have kids who have graduated from college. I know what it's about from the parents' point of view. I went to college myself, so I know what it's like from the student's point of view. This is a time of lots of changes, biological, mental, physical, whatever. So if you do need help, ask for help. Okay, not just at this class, mental issues, physical issues, financial issues, political issues, whatever. Okay, because we have this huge set of people out there whose job is to help with that. Okay. And I can help you get in touch with those people. I can help you myself. I'm totally open to talking about that stuff. That's part of my job. Okay? And I totally do this. Okay? So don't suffer in silence. Yeah? Don't just think, oh my God, I'm have so many problems. Don't suffer in silence. If you think that there's a problem, reach out. Okay? I'm totally willing to help you, and I can also help you get in touch with them. Okay? If you reach out to one of us, we can help you find the right people to talk to. Any questions about that? Okay. Let's see. Media groups. Oh, sometimes this was good. This is kind of fun. In the homework, we'll sometimes look at little movies, and in the class. So all the movies we look in the class are at very low fidelity, but they're all here. They're like little 320 by 40 videos like this. Okay, but they're all up there, and you can see them, and sometimes I'll ask you to look at them for the homework. Okay, some of them are now pretty old, so I'll need to update them. So if you have any ideas about movies or TV shows or newspaper articles or something, let me know. Okay, let's see. Okay, I used to like video office hours. Like I had this thing, like a camera, so like, these are all screencasts from like 2 years ago. I think I'll screencast this class too. Okay, there will be audio on Bruincast, okay, but not video. But I will release these screencasts on YouTube. Okay, all right. Some people really like it because they can go back and look at it more slowly. Okay, there's seats in the front if you want. Okay, all right. Some of these for another class, but sometimes I will actually people ask me questions on homework, and I did this thing with a little camera which faces downward, and some people really like that stuff. So you can go back and a lot of the homeworks I explain to people. Okay? All right. Well, that's kind of nice. I might do that again this year. Okay. So if you come to my office hours, I might say, hey, do you want to make a YouTube video of our little chat looking at our papers? Okay. Here's the course calendar. So this is just a little Google calendar of what happens. So today's the first day of class. Homework 1 will be given a week from today. Okay, so there's no homework today. And then we'll have this thing of, we'll give it out on Thursday. It'll be due the next week. Okay, a week later, and we'll give out the next homework, etc. So this kind of pattern goes on until about the midterm. Midterm is November 6th. And then we'll have, after that, we'll have the homeworks given on Tuesdays. Okay. There's always this issue about Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving is it this? Yeah. So people often ask me, are we having class on Tuesday of Thanksgiving? Okay. In the past, I've said, yes, we're having class, period. But now I'm beginning to think, since it's so expensive to fly in this period. Some people, So I'm thinking about having some flexibility in the sense of making that a video, like a video lecture. Is that interesting to you? Okay, all right. So we'll think about that. Okay, because I do want people, if they want to go home, I don't want them to spend $600 or something like that to go home. Okay, so anyway, we'll think about that. Okay. How many people go home for Thanksgiving? Just curious. Okay, all right. Okay, so December, this is when things get really fast. We have homeworks that due and given, etc. Oh, some homeworks are given, but they're not handed in. They're just for your benefit, for review. There's one before the midterm. Last class is December 6th, and the final exam is December 12th. Usually the last class, you don't cover new material. Okay, anything else? Well, there's a few more things. Handout archive. Oh, this is fun. Okay, this is, it's already 145, right? Not 115, yes?
Right.
Okay. These are all the past midterms and finals in since 2002. Okay, they're all for your benefit. Have fun. Right, so, no, seriously. So all the midterms and finals and their answers are up there. Okay, so if you want to study, it's like tons and tons and tons of stuff to do. So literally, it comes down. If you want to prepare for the midterm, just give yourself 75 minutes and say, I'm going to try to do this midterm. And then I'll do it. Look at the answers. Okay, so you have tons and tons of stuff. That's why they're up there. So look for your benefit.
Do you ever repeat?
Huh?
Do you ever repeat?
I try not to repeat. Okay. Sometimes I think if I get really desperate, so we will make the exams literally the night before. When you guys are studying, you're like thinking, oh my gosh, I really like this. And so sometimes I think we get really desperate, we'll do an open. So we haven't done that. So, and you can see, if you really try hard, you'll see certain familiar patterns. Like certain things are kind of slightly modified and recycled or something. But we try to, that's kind of what makes it fun, is to kind of change things. Yeah.
Oh, my question was going to be, even though the questions change, a lot of the ideas are something
Yes,
correct.
exactly, right. In terms of the material covered, there's only a few things that are slightly different. Almost all of it's the same. Yeah. So it's not like, sometimes there'll be a question people say, oh, I didn't cover that. It's not usually it's just not. So, exactly the material is the same. And then questions? Okay, anyway, so please take a look at this. You can see the evolution of technology over the years. So, this is kind of interesting. Here are the answers. I used a tablet, so it looks nice. But back in the day, tablets didn't exist, so I used like a pencil or something. I don't know what I did. Oh no, actually, this one I typed up. Huh? Oh yeah, you can see kind of what we did. It was not as nice. Let's see what else. This. Yeah, that's all by hand. Okay. Any questions about that? So it's to your benefit. Please use them. If you have questions, often people will say, "Hey, what about this question in 2009 midterm?" I'm totally open to talking about that. If you see an error in an answer key, let me know about that too. Okay. This is our textbook. It's this 5-page handout. So actually, the first half of the class is nothing but doing this stuff. So you can literally read this and say, okay, I understand it. And then that's 5 weeks of the class. Okay, so it's in other words, what we're doing is pretty, I think it's pretty simple, really. So it's not something which you have to understand, read 200 pages of stuff to get every little detail. It's all about certain concepts understood well. Okay, so this is what it is. This is our textbook. Oh, let's talk about this. This is fun. This is the grade distribution from previous years. So let me tell you, this is what I'll talk about. Okay, so this is how people did last year. So this is the person who was the best in the class. They got 100 participation grades. They did all their homeworks. Their midterm score was 47.5 out of 48, which is almost perfect. They got 90 out of 96 on the final. And so I did that little formula on this, and I got a 96.67. That's a composite. And that made it the highest. So they got person an A+. Okay? So that person did really well. But let's look at this person. For example, number 17. Sorry, number 18. This person got an A+ too. They got a 43.5 out of 48 in the midterm. They got a 78 out of 96 on the final. Okay, so you might think a 78 out of 96, that sounds like a C plus. Okay, but it isn't because they're in the top 10% of the class. They got an A plus. Yeah? Okay. How about this? Let's look at the person number 57. This is the 57th ranked out of like 180. They did all their homework, got a 43 out of 48 in the midterm, 63.5 out of 96 on the final. 63 out of 96 on the final. They got an A minus. Okay? Let's see. Hold on a sec. Is this the one I want? Yeah, okay, this is okay. Okay. How about this? Let's look at the B. You can see, oh, look. Notice also one thing. This is about the homework thing. Notice almost everybody who gets A's did all the homework. Okay? It's like the easiest point you can get is just doing the homework. And it's not graded based on the correctness. You just do it. You know, just do it and not think about it too much. Let's see, oh, this person. How about number 60? Okay, they got a 43 on the midterm and 76 on the final, but they didn't do a lot of their homework, so they got a B plus. Okay, that person got the same grade as this person who got a 31 and a 72. Yeah? So you see, looks like this person was 43 in the midterm and 76 in the final. Oh, check this out. This person got significantly worse in both the midterm and the final than this person. You see that? Right? That person got a 36.5 in the midterm and 67.5 on the final. Much worse than this person, but that person got a higher grade overall because that person did all the homeworks. Yeah? Okay, so please do the homeworks. Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, let's keep on going. Okay, so now you see there's more and more like people not doing the homeworks and stuff. Okay, how about this? This person got, let's see, number 115. This person didn't turn the last one, got a 0.51 in the homeworks. Got a 33 out of 48 in the midterm, 59 out of 96 in the final, and got a B minus. Okay? You might think 59 out of 96, that sounds like an F. Yeah? It's not an F, yeah? It's a B minus. Are you okay with me? You with me now? Okay. So if you got a 50 out of 96 in the final, you're not failing. Okay, how about this? Person 150. Okay, that person did almost all the homeworks. Got 22 out of 48 and 35 out of 96. 35 out of 96 on the final. But that person got a C. Okay? All right. Okay, so you can see my point, yeah? Now, of course, some people did really badly. Like, okay, but as you can see, I guess that person shut up the section. Anyway. Anyway, yeah. But you can sort of see, like, when I said not doing the homework is the best predictor of failure, that's what this literally means. People who got Fs tend to just not do the homework. That's pretty simple. So one very easy way to just get out of this range and get into the C minus range is just do the homeworks. Yeah? Okay, it's like the easiest thing you can do is just, okay, all right. Let's see, for example, okay, this person here, number 159, who did all the homeworks, got 15.5 out of 48 on the midterm, and 19 out of 96 in the final. 19, okay? But they got a C minus because they did all the homeworks. Okay? All right. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. Anyway, there's more things. This is a lecture I did once. I had the chicken pox, and I had this lecture, the video lecture. This is a spreadsheet. Oh, this is a Booncast did thing in 2017, and I think that all those lectures are on there too. So you can play the old lectures and see. Let's see what happens. It's kind of embarrassing to see yourself.
All right.
So anyway,
Any questions about the
okay.
course? How things are happening?
It's exactly. When you look at yourself, it's like you literally do the same things. I even had the same jokes year after year. Like, oh yeah, I told that joke in 2006. Yeah. Okay. So remember I said we will turn the homework in physically in class, but one nice thing is if you want to protect yourself and make sure in case it gets lost, you can turn it in digitally. And so I made a little, I've never done that before, so there's like a little link. So it probably looks different for you, this link. Okay, but you might try and just send in like a picture of a cat or something, you know, just to see if it works. Okay, and so we'll see. Any questions about that? Any questions about the way the course runs? Grading questions, enrollment questions? Anybody still trying to get into the class? Yeah, okay, so if you are, just talk to me after class. Okay. I'm trying to be accommodating because I know it's hard to get into class these days. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay, sections don't meet today or tomorrow, they meet next week. Okay. Any questions? Okay. We okay? Again, I'll be outside. I'll leave at the end of class. I'll leave. I'll get all my stuff here out of here quickly so the next person can come in. But then I'll get talk to you outside. Okay, so let's start the actual material of the class. Oh, we're not. No, we're not done. We'll always go to 1:45. Any questions about the before we start the material class? No. Okay. Oh, okay. So what I usually start the material class by showing a video. Okay, so let me do this. Okay. This feels a little obsolete, but they're on DVDs. How many people have never watched a DVD in their life? How many people watch DVDs now? Like, when's the last time you played a DVD? Last night? Okay, okay. How many people remember playing music by taking this, like a VHS? When's the last time you saw a VHS? I can't remember. What about these, like, black circular things with a hole in it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. How many people remember going to record stores in their entire life? Yeah. You still go? Good for you.
They're actually more popular now than ever.
Yeah. They're expensive too. Yeah. Okay. How many people still play stuff off their iTunes playlist, like the money they bought on iTunes? Okay. All right, let's watch this video. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you is, what's in common among all the examples shown in this video?
When I got older, I tried this and I tried that, and found that it didn't work, whatever, or it did work, whatever. But at least when I get to a certain age and say, well, I'm not going to regret anything in my life, I've lived my life to the fullest, which I think I can do.
Enables the model to turn, roll, pitch, and vary in height. This freedom of movement allows models to be tested in realistic circumstances. Propulsion systems for VSOL, or vertical and short takeoff and landing aircraft, present for
Saddam Hussein came to the country. He was interested in peace. You see, the decision is his to make. It's been his to make all along as to whether or not there's the use of the military. He got to decide whether he's going to disarm, and he didn't. He can decide whether he wants to leave the country. These are his decisions to make. And thus far, he has made bad decisions.
Bush doesn't seem to care what the world says. He doesn't seem to care what kind of position he's putting Americans in. He doesn't seem to care what position he's putting Tony Blair in, or Tony Blair wasn't putting himself in that position, which I'm surprised yet. But I would say this. If he goes ahead with this war, he's making a big mistake in a lot of ways. And if you think he's not going to feel some of that mistake, because obviously he doesn't care about the other mistakes, such as destabilizing the Middle East, tanking our economy. But I think he's going to feel that mistake come next election time, if not earlier.
All right. So my question to you is, there are a lot of kind of random things going on in that video, but there was an element which is in common between all of them. Okay. This one. What's in common among all those things you saw?
All
Yes. Go ahead.
They all have to do with unpredictable outcomes.
Yeah, unpredictable, yeah. What else? Any other? Yeah.
They all have like humans
Yeah, it's all humans, I think. Did you recognize one of them thing is not completely obsolete? It was like the pictures, the architectural drawings. You know what that was? That was for the World Trade Center now because they built it a different way. Any other? Yeah.
in.
Decision making, yeah.
Multiple options.
Multiple options, yes.
Maybe like evolution, like progress.
Oh, yeah. Progress of trying to things like. Okay. What about, did you recognize the Bush? You guys probably don't remember the Gulf War, right? That's 2003. So, this whole thing about Saddam Hussein making weapons of mass destruction. Do you remember that thing when Bush said that? What was that? It was like a speech, right? What was going on there? And what about the protesters? The protesters saying, what was going on there? How are those in common with what was said before? Any other thoughts about how these things are seen?
It comes off as one person acting in the latter.
Yeah. So both in those last stories, it's about Bush is saying like it's all about Saddam, right? He's like describing the situation certain way, and also the Brits are saying like something similar, right? It's like if Bush makes a decision, then he'll do whatever. Yeah, thoughts on how they're all come? Yeah,
It was all about conflict.
conflict. You guys could say that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's look at examples. Naomi Campbell. Okay, she looks exactly the same as Naomi. By the way. The second one was what? I think it was the wind tunnel thing, right? Yeah, the plane and wind tunnel. The third thing was Sims, right? Do you guys still play that? It's kind of a 90s thing. How many people have ever played The Sims? Okay, well that's good. All right. The fourth thing was what? The World Trade Center stuff. Yeah. What was the fifth thing? The crash test dummy. Yeah. And then the sixth thing was, I think George W. Bush in the Azores. Do you remember this? That was before the war. The Azores is like some island in the middle of the Atlantic. They all flew there. Talked about it was kind of like the last stand or the last sort of threat to Saddam. And the last thing was what? Protesters. Okay. So what's in common in all these things? Elements of conflict, decision making, and all these things. But what I'm going to push is actually the first answer, which is they are all models. Okay. What do I mean by this? Well, Naomi Campbell is a model. Okay. The wind tunnel is a model. Okay. The Sims is like a model of what? That's real life, in domestic life. How about the World Trade Center? Similarly, it's a model, it's a description, yeah? Okay, this crash test dummy, what's that a model of? You know, like a crash of human beings. Yeah. This is interesting though. How are these models? This is what we talked about a second ago. Right? So, yeah.
Bush could be a role model.
Yeah, I guess he himself could be a model, but I guess what I'm saying is, in that description of what he's saying, he's saying this is how I think of the war. Obviously, a war is a very complicated situation with hundreds of tanks and people running around and all this stuff. But what he's saying is, I think it's Saddam's decision to make. That's what he said. So he's kind of describing it in terms of a certain situation. So he's kind of describing it. Obviously, it's not Saddam's decision to make, period. But obviously, there are many other people making decisions, including Bush himself. But that's how he's choosing to describe it. How about the anti-war demonstrations? What's going on there? Yeah.
They're modeling public opinion.
Yeah, exactly. They're saying, obviously, elections are a very complicated process with millions of people involved, but basically saying, yeah, if Bush does this, it's going to go wrong. Okay. What are models good for? Okay. So, what is Naomi Campbell's job? If you're a model, what is your job? To look good, not just to look good. And you guys look good, but you're not models. No. Did that sound bad? No, but if you walk, just be looking good and not being a model, right? Being a model has a certain job, which is to do what?
Sell merchandise.
Yeah. Your job is to wear clothes and sell that stuff, right? Your job is to walk down the runway and whatever, right? So if you're first, of course, he insulted our looks. If you're a model, your job is to show clothes. That's your job. Your job is to wear clothes and display them. So a lot of what a model does is just really to display something. Okay. How about this? How is that a model? What's going on there with the in the air tunnel wind tunnel thing? What's the point of that thing?
It's like displaying more engineers.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
I was gonna say, the operation of an object.
Right. Yeah, so and part of it is this testing, right? You're actually trying to design it, like you're saying, if I make this ring to the low thicker, is it going to work? And so that's the whole point of that. Okay? So you're testing your design. That's another point of having a model. You're testing design. And I guess also, for that matter, like clothes are also being tested on real people as well. What's the point of the sims? What is the model doing there? Am I testing something, designing something? Huh? Really, exactly. You know, it's like, what if I put 20 people in this room? What's going to happen? Right? So, one element of model is strictly for entertainment purposes. This is like, what could happen if I do something like this? Like some crazy thing. Like, what if they made it so that all people have to be armed or something? I don't know, but we can do it in relationships. So part of it is just entertainment. What about the World Trade Center? What's going on there? Why do I use a model?
Project.
Huh?
Project.
Yeah, project. But why do I use a model for the building of things? That's the plan, yeah. Yeah, design. But I guess, why do I use a model? Why do it on my computer as opposed to just taking some bricks and building things?
So you can preview it for you.
Yeah, you preview it. But the essence of that is what? It's similar, yeah. But I could. It takes time, right?
To get it approved.
Yeah, that's the approval. Basically, the reason you do it is because it's easier. It's much easier to build something on my computer than to actually build a thing and realize, oh, I put this door in the wrong place and that, right? Okay, so it's low cost. That's most of the point of models. It's very low cost. You can do it easily, quickly, cheaply. Okay, easier on my computer. It's easier to make a building out of like foam board than it is out of bricks. How about this crash test dummy thing? Yeah.
To inform or to warn, maybe?
Yeah, to warn. Yeah. Why do I not put a real person in there? That would work better. Right? No, it's because, simulate, because it's just much less costly, right? You can do kind of dangerous things with models you couldn't do in real life. Yeah? Okay? And another element is this, sometimes they'll say like, why does this crash test dummy, it doesn't have hair or a name? Okay? Is it important the crash test dummy have hair? No, because we don't think a hair is actually make a difference in a crash. Maybe if we get really sophisticated, maybe we think, oh, we really should put hair in this crash test dummy because maybe their hair will get caught in the seat or something like that, or whatever. But part of the reason why we have models is also to purposely simplify. That is, we don't give this crash test dummy a name or personality because for the purposes of an accident, their personality doesn't have much. So part of a model is to say, I'm not going to put a real person in this car. I'll put a model in there, but part of the reason that is because I want to look at what's really important here. And what's really important is simply whether they have a head on it. Whether they have like blood in them. What about for Bush? What's the model doing there? Yeah, it's like an influence, like to persuade, yeah? Okay. So you can argue or persuade with it. It's like saying, Bush is basically saying it's up to Saddam, so it's not to make a decision. Of course, it's not completely up to Saddam, but by making that model, he's saying, I think of the situation as Saddam's decision. And that's kind of an argument, a persuasion he's trying to make. Yeah? Okay. How about the protest? And look at this, who would Jesus want? What is going on there? No, your mom. No, but like, what is literally that, like, what's literally, it's like an analogy, yeah? Or a metaphor or whatever, or something which an English person would know about, right? So it's kind of an analogy. A model is kind of like an analogy. Yeah? It's like saying, war is like, the decision to go into war is like a decision Jesus would make, whatever. Or in our description, it was like, if when it goes to war, we're going to vote about. Again, complicated process, but simplified in a very simple way. Okay. A model is a purposely simplified description. Okay? It's purposely simplified. A model is not reality. A crash test dummy and a human are different things. The pictures of the World Trade Center in my computer is not the same thing as the World Trade Center. Okay? A model does not try to capture all detail. Okay? We're not going to put here on this crash test dummy. We're going to make it as simple as possible, but not too simple. And so, how about this? What's that? Is it a football play? Well, where's the football? Where's the people? I don't see, like, where are the spectators?
It's a whiteboard.
Well, it's actually, yeah, it's a whiteboard, it's a chalkboard, it's a chalk on it, and that thing is it a football play?
It's a game strategy.
It's a strategy, but it is a model of a football play, yes? You see what I'm saying? It's not a football play. It is rather a description of a football play, yeah? A model of it. Why do I describe it in that way, as opposed to actually have like 11 people, 20 people around?
It's much easier.
It's much easier, yeah. It's like I put 100 of these things in a notebook. Okay? It's easier. That's the whole point of doing this. Yeah? To make it easy. It's not the same thing, and obviously when I run this play, it's going to be a lot more complicated than this little figure, but it's definitely worthwhile to have this figure. Yeah? Okay, so in social science, we use models too. There are lots of kinds of models in social science. So if you're a social scientist, you're looking at the world and trying to figure out what are these people doing. Okay, that's the whole point. Understanding what people are doing. People are complicated. Human beings are complicated. Society is complicated. But we will sometimes try to simplify that purposely. Okay, and we use a model. Okay, there are lots of kinds of models in social science. Game theory is one of the simplest. Okay, so that's what I do. It's just one of many kinds of modeling, but it is, I think, an interesting kind. So this class is about modeling. It's not about facts. So this class is not really learning about, for example, how the Parliament of France is different from the Parliament of Indonesia or something like that. It's not really about facts. It's more about trying to describe social situations in simple ways to understand them. It's about modeling. So there's another example. Okay. So we shouldn't get a model and the real world confused. Okay? So when I talk about modeling, people often say, well, in the real world, isn't it like this? And I'll say, yes. But remember, we're trying to simplify. That's kind of our goal. Okay? We're trying to simplify for all the reasons that are gave. So I usually show a clip here that illustrates this. This is from Zoolander. This is a movie which has aged very well, by the way. Has anybody seen Zoolander 2, which is not good a movie? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, but this is a good one. I recommend this.
Yes, sir. What Maury said I was willing to do for you. Let's get back to the reason that we're really here. Without much further ado, I give you the Dead Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good. What is this? A center for ants? What? How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside a fit? Garrett, it's just I don't want to hear your excuses. The center has to be at least 3 times bigger than this. He's absolutely right. Thank you. I have a vision.
What's the point of that? Model and the real world are different things. All right. So, why do people do what they do? This is if you're a social scientist, you wake up in the morning, you think, what are people doing around me? Why are they doing what they do? You try to explain to them. If you're a game theorist, again, this is one kind of model, not the only. But if you're a game theorist, you basically think that people are doing things because they choose to do so. There are a lot of things I do because I don't choose to. Like, I don't really choose whether to breathe, like I breathe. Okay? But a lot of things in life people do because they choose to. For example, the reason you're here in class, you could have slept off and just kind of found your way in here. That was okay. But most of you are probably here because you chose to take this class. So choice is a very, very important part of human behavior. Okay. Game theory emphasizes choice. So game theory is all about understanding people's actions through their choices. People do what they do because they choose to. And this is not always true. For example, if you're in a packed elevator and someone in front of you goes back and you kind of go like this, you didn't choose to like reflex way back, whatever. Okay. Infectious diseases, like you didn't choose to get the flu if your friend has the flu. Okay. So not all of human behavior has to do with choices, but it's true in many situations. How do we model a person's choice? This is the first kind of model. Again, and choices can be complicated, but we're going to try to model. Okay. So this is you know what this refers to? This is kind of fun. There's a classic example where they give kids like one marshmallow and said, if you don't eat this marshmallow, you'll eat 2 marshmallows later, and track them through life. So it turns out that if you can hold off eating the first marshmallow, you do better in school, like in 20 years later, you have better jobs. Okay. Anyhow, how do you model a person's choice? So if you were to model a person's choice, what would you do? Like, how do I model it? What's the first step? No.
Try to simplify the situation.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the first kind of simplification you would do, for example?
Maybe simplify like the outside factors and like try to get down to like what it's really about, like what the choice really is at its core.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, I'm going to say the first thing to simplify is just say to just one person, for example. Just that's the first thing we can talk about. Yeah. And how about progressive? Yeah.
Yes, individual, they only have like a choice of doing an action or not doing it.
Yeah.
Yes or no.
Exactly. So maybe the simplest choice is yes or no. And another choice might be 2 or 3 things, or 4 or 5 things, or something, right? So the first thing is to look at the person. The second thing is what they can choose among, right? Their choices they can choose, right? Okay, so there's going to be one person. The next thing is going to be the alternatives they can choose among. Okay, the set of alternatives. What's the third thing? Is this going to be enough? Huh? Somebody said it. Yes.
Just look at what they choose.
Can look at what they choose, but if I want to describe a choice, like it's not just to describe the alternatives in the person, but something else I need to put in there. Yeah. Consequences. Yeah, the impact. So what we'll think about this, and so we'll get to 1.5. Oh, I'll say one thing we're done. Okay? We're going to talk about their preferences, like whether they care about this choice or another. Okay? So we're going to start talking about this. Okay, see you. And if you need to talk to me, I'll be outside. Huh? Oh yeah, sorry, your TA's in the back, I'm sorry. Wait your TA's. Thank you. Huh? Thank you. Oh, thanks. Thank you.